So it's done. And here they are, Alexis Sanchez and Henrikh Mkhitaryan in their new kits. And after protracted negotiation, the swap deal has happened. And what a swap deal. And Arsenal fans are going to have to get used to Alexis Sanchez in a Manchester United shirt. But they have an exciting addition. They have this fella, the Armenian captain, Henrikh Mkhitaryan, in an Arsenal shirt. Our reporters have been in place since early this morning. James Cooper has been right across the United side of things, of course. And my colleague Paul Gilmer has been on Mkhitaryan watch here in central London. Let's go live to Carrington first. James, good evening. Tell me, what can you tell us about this deal with Sanchez?
Well, Jim, following on the likes of George Best, of Brian Robson, of Eric Cantona, of David Beckham and Cristiano Ronaldo, tonight Manchester United truly have another world-class number 7 in the shape of Alexis Sanchez. It's the deal we said would be done. It just took a little bit of time getting it over the line. He signed a 4.5-year deal to become a Manchester United player. I'm expecting him to be involved in the FA Cup tie at Yeovil Town on Friday night. I think he'll see his teammates, his new teammates that is, for the first time here at Carrington tomorrow morning. And there's been an awful lot of conjecture about his wages. I just want to put them into perspective. He'll be a very well-rewarded player, no doubt about that. Probably the most highly paid Premier League player there is at the moment. But United have obviously lost a considerable wage in Henrikh Mkhitaryan. They haven't had to pay a fee either for Alexis Sanchez, so I don't think they'd say they're getting a bargain here, bearing in mind the sums involved. But having soaked up the wages of Mkhitaryan, it's not quite throwing the baby out with the bathtub when it comes with the sort of conjecture, sort of speculation on wages. But let's have a look about what Alexis Sanchez is saying about joining Manchester United tonight and what Jose Mourinho said about his big January summer signing. This is what Alexis has got to say about joining United. He said, "I'm thrilled to be joining the biggest club in the world. I've spent 3.5 wonderful years at Arsenal, and I bring with me very positive memories of that great club and its fans. The chance to play in this historic stadium and to work with Jose Mourinho was something I could not turn down. I'm very proud to be the first Chilean player ever to play for United's first team, and I hope I can show our fans all around the world why the club wanted to bring me here." And in response to that, Jose Mourinho, who I know is delighted to have got his man in this January window, says, "Alexis is one of the best attacking players in the world, and he will complete our very young and talented group of attacking players. He will bring his ambition, drive and personality, qualities that make a Manchester United player, and a player that makes the team stronger and the supporters proud of their club dimension and prestige." All along, Manchester United have been saying they don't like to do business in January, but if something exceptional, something incredible falls on their table, they will do that business. Jose Mourinho highlighted Alexis Sanchez as incredible, as potentially devastating for his Manchester United side, and the Manchester United board have backed him and brought him here after, of course, Manchester City said that he was too expensive to bring to the blue side of Manchester. So some statement of intent when it comes to Jose Mourinho and his aspirations for this Manchester United side, bearing in mind, of course, we understand that he's also in negotiations about extending his time at Old Trafford too.
James, of course, this became public knowledge at around, 6 o'clock, I think, this evening. It's been a long day for you. Take me through the developments, if you like, of this day, because this now is a famous day, isn't it?
It is a certainly famous day and a very quirky day in that. You're right, bang on the dot of 6 o'clock we were told that Manchester United had got their man, and of course in exchange for that Henrikh Mkhitaryan's gone down to North London. But you're right, it started very early. Alexis Sanchez making his way here to Carrington this morning. He then popped to Old Trafford, I think, to do some of the commercial stuff and maybe some of the photos that you'll see of him in a Manchester United shirt, that famous number 7 shirt of Manchester United. And I talked about the kind of quirky nature of this deal, and I say United are delighted. It's a swap deal. They've not paid any cash on top of Mkhitaryan. It's 1-for-1, big wages of course, but it is a swap deal in essence. And I talk about the quirky nature of this. We knew that Alexis would have to go off somewhere in the northwest to sort out a work permit. He had one for Arsenal playing there. It needs to be removed, and then bumped into the guy that is replacing him at Arsenal. The swap deal, Henrikh Mkhitaryan turning up at the same passport office. So it does say it has been an epic and an incredible day and a long day, but all along throughout this whole thing, Manchester United remained relaxed, they've remained calm. They knew they had the wherewithal to do this deal. They knew they had what it took to persuade Alexis Sanchez to come to the northwest. For Arsenal to take Henrikh Mkhitaryan, I'd said to everybody, be patient, it would happen. It took a little longer than I think we all thought, but bearing in mind there's still 9 days to run this transfer deadline, you could say that United have got their business done very quickly, and Jose Mourinho and his players have been off the last couple of days following that victory at Burnley. They're back in tomorrow. They'll have a new teammate in the shape of Alexis Sanchez, and I think United fans very excited in the direction that their club seems to be going on. Maybe perhaps too much to think that Sanchez could have a big chance in winning a title this season for United, but I think it's about making an impression in the Champions League latter stages, and who knows, a real title challenge next season.
James, for the moment, thank you very much. Let's get to my colleague now, Paul Gilmer, who's outside the central London hotel where Mkhitaryan has been staying over the past few days. Paul, good evening to you. The wait is over. Mkhitaryan is an Arsenal player. The man who did the deal, super agent Mino Raiola, as I understand it, Paul, is back in Holland tonight on other business. That guy doesn't stop. But what can you tell me at this moment?
Yeah, that man just does not rest, Jim. As you say, good evening. Yes, Arsenal announced the deal in a joint announcement with Manchester United, as James was saying, at 6 o'clock there. On a long-term contract, they confirmed. We understand that to be 3.5 years contract for Henrikh Mkhitaryan to Arsenal. We can bring you some quotes from the Armenia captain, just a first reaction to his move to the Emirates. I'm very happy that we could finish this deal, he said, and I'm very happy to be here. It's a dream come true because I've always dreamed of playing for Arsenal. Now that I'm here, I'll do my best for this club to create a history. And Arsene Wenger has also added some reaction to that. Henrikh is a very complete player, he says. He creates chances, he defends well, he can absorb distances, and he's very committed as well. I must say, he's a player who has all the attributes to it. We heard James talking about patience. Things can go wrong in transfers when one player is involved, never mind when two. But the crucial breakthrough from a Mkhitaryan point of view was Saturday just past there, when Mkhitaryan finally agreed to be an Arsenal player. We did catch up with him just a few hours after that. We put some questions to him. He couldn't quite talk at that point. He and Mino Raiola, you mentioned him, Jim, he was there as well. They couldn't quite talk. They politely declined to answer the questions because the deal just wasn't quite over the line yet, but it is now. Henrikh Mkhitaryan is an Arsenal player, and of course there will be some excitement from Arsenal fans. A lot of excitement is the reaction already we can sort of see on social media. It will also be tinged in sadness because Alexis Sanchez was such an exciting player for Arsenal. He was a player who could make quite an impact in a game, as we all know. We know what Alexis Sanchez is about. So Arsenal have lost a player of that quality, but they're excited about bringing in Henrikh Mkhitaryan. And by the way, well played Arsenal, because they have now wished Henrikh Mkhitaryan a belated happy birthday. 29 yesterday, of course, but they couldn't do it yesterday because they would have been wishing a Manchester United player happy birthday. Today, he's an Arsenal player.
Paul, terrific. Thank you very much. So the wait is finally over tonight. Former Arsenal striker Alan Smith thinks United have added real strength to their squad.
For Jose Mourinho, he's got a top-class player there who you would imagine now will be back to what he was in his good times at Arsenal. Really setting the standards of desire, chasing down balls and producing real quality on the ball. So for United and United fans, I'm sure they'll be really excited.
They get the one that first came to Arsenal, who is a warrior, fights and scraps for everything he can get. His pace, his movement, everything. His commitment when he's totally on it. He's a fabulous footballer. I don't think Jose likes a front two, so I'm not sure of that. I mean, as I say, when you see him when he was in Chile in the national team, that he liked to come in off the left and join the centre forward. He's very, very good at that. That's when he's at his very best. But even at Barcelona, he came from the right and came inside a little bit. He can really play any of these positions. I think his preference is number 9. But I don't see him being number 9. He's got to be in there competing against Lukaku. He might get upset, you know, because he's a Zlatan on his tail. So I'm not quite sure where he's going to play him. If anything, I think he will be slightly to the left. What does that mean for Rashford and Martial? Well, that's another debate for Manchester United fans. But it's a lot of money in terms of wages for a player who you're trying to fit into the team.
Joined us, welcome along to the Transfer Centre. It is all happening. The breaking news tonight, Alexis Sanchez is now officially a Manchester United player, and Henrikh Mkhitaryan has gone in the other direction, down here to London. He has joined Arsenal. This kind of double move, if you like, has been in the cards for the best part of a couple of weeks. Damish is with Kirsty and myself. It's a big question, Damish. I think it's probably hard to answer. Why is it taking so long?
I'll try and answer it. Transfers, as you know, Jim, are very difficult to do when one player is involved, let alone a player exchange. And a swap deal involving two such high-profile players, two such high-profile clubs is so rare, it was never ever going to be as straightforward as many people thought. Not only do you have the players, you have the clubs, but also the two different sets of representatives all wanting to do the best deal for their client, basically. Add to that all the paperwork that needs to get over the line. It's no surprise a deal of this magnitude has taken a while to get done. And because the added bit was, because Arsenal insisted a deal for Sanchez would only happen if Mkhitaryan went the other way, the clubs were always going to work towards a simultaneous announcement. And that's why we've had to wait until just 9 days before the deadline for this one to be confirmed. If you think about when you're buying a house, for example, I think it's a good analogy. If you're interested in a house on Monday, you're not going to be moving in on Tuesday.
No.
It takes a long time for all the paperwork, for all the deals to get done. You can compare that to a transfer.
Yeah, absolutely. And really, on the 1st of January, or around that time, before that as well, we did not envisage this deal, really, did we?
Far from it, Kirsty. Manchester City tried to buy Alexis Sanchez in the summer, of course, but Arsenal couldn't get in a replacement. That's why that deal didn't go ahead. They did try, of course, when they bid £90 million for Monaco's Thomas Lemar. Monaco didn't want to release Lemar at that stage. Since then, at nearly every one of Arsene Wenger's news conferences, and I've been to a few of them as well, he's been asked about Sanchez's future. Back in November, he said Sanchez would not leave in January unless something exceptional was to happen. But you just got the impression his stance softened more and more the more press conferences that he did since those defiant days when he said no chance of Sanchez leaving. Still, then it was City where we expected Sanchez to go, but that changed about a week ago when City ended their interest. Amazingly, a club with the finances of Manchester City deemed that the Sanchez deal was too expensive for even them. It was left then to a straight fight between Manchester United and Chelsea, Jose Mourinho and Antonio Conte, but United had the upper hand. The exceptional that Wenger was talking about came in the form of Henrikh Mkhitaryan coming to Arsenal in what proved to be a straight swap. And so it's done. Alexis Sanchez is a Manchester United player, will wear the number 7. Mkhitaryan is an Arsenal player. Sanchez could make his debut and the salubrious surroundings of Hewish Park at Yeovil in the FA Cup 4th round on Friday. Mkhitaryan will have to wait until next Tuesday when Arsenal travel to Swansea.
Great.